Good evening and welcome to Dog Talk. I'm Dan Camilleri.
And I'm Laura McKillop.
Firstly, we'd like to start tonight by thanking our sponsor Enduro, high energy food for working dogs with Real Kangaroo Roommate for sponsoring our Q&As.
Although we are not live tonight, we're fortunate enough to be speaking with our first international guest all the way from South Scotland, Laura Hinnekens from She Shepherds, who will be picking what she thinks is the best question, and they will win a bag of Enduro Plus. Welcome, Laura. How are you?
Hi there, I'm good. Thank you for having me.
No, you're welcome. How's your morning been so far?
Oh, sorry, I'm not sure that I can hear you well.
It's okay.
Can you hear me better now?
Yep, we can hear. How's your morning been?
Yeah, it's been great. As you know, I've been trying to find signal everywhere in this place. But, yes, I think it looks okay. So finger crossed it stays like that.
I suppose it doesn't matter where you are, internet can always be a bother.
Yes.
So, Laura, tell us a bit about yourself, your family, where you're from, what you do.
So right now I live in Scotland. I've been living in this country for like 5 years, I think. I'm originally from Belgium, so I was born in the middle of Brussels in the city. My parents are obviously not from farm background. I've got no grandparents in farming either. I just was really keen into, well, obsessed by animals since I was a kid, and that's why I took this path. And right now I'm farming my own sheep, so I've got 500 North Country Cheviots at home, and I contract a farm as well. So yep, this is what I do, and I do a bit of self-employed work as well when I've got time, but it's not often anymore.
Yeah, I know your partner mentioned earlier when we we're having a chat that he spent a bit of time in Australia. How are your Cheviots different from our Merinos?
Well, because I haven't been in Australia, I don't know. I don't really know. I think I should ask him. But well, I would say that what I've seen, I think is two totally different kind of sheep. I mean, wool-wise, or even the carcass, or the Merinos look like they're super hardy. My Cheviot are wee fatties, so
That's fantastic.
So how do you use your working dogs in your day-to-day life?
I just use them probably 24/7. Well, I just need them all the time. Like here, the sheep are not like if I talk about the hill farm, for example, that you don't really see them that much, so they don't really know human very much, so they're pretty wild. So if you don't have dogs, you can't do nothing. I don't know. And the time I gain with them is just incredible. So no, I can't do without them. I was saying that to my partner. I was like, I really feel naked when I don't have dogs. That's the first thing. When I don't have my whistles in the hill, and then the third thing is when I don't have goals. So no, I need them.
Like being at that party and nobody talks dogs, you're not sure what to do.
Sorry?
It's like when you're at a party or with people and nobody talks dogs, you don't know what to do.
I know.
You mentioned you never grew up on a property, or your parents had no livestock. So where did your passion for working dogs and livestock come from?
I started to ride horses a wee bit when I was like 10 or so, and since then I was just totally addicted. And when I was 18, I started to work for a vet, and he had like 100 breeding mares, and I was working for him and riding his horses, and he had some sheep as well, and I ended up having to work in amongst them, but it was horrible because he didn't have a dog, so I was just basically the dog, and I was being shouted at, and I had to run in the field and try to get them in, and it was a nightmare. And I was like, that could be so much more fun. And I started to look into it a wee bit, and I was like, we really just need a dog. I mean, it's going to be so fun. And And this is really how I started to be a bit keener in sheep, because I started to learn a bit more about them and how they were reacting and stuff. And yeah, that's why I bought my first dog.
Yeah. Who was your first dog?
She's called Fuji, so she's still with me. But yeah, she was unregistered from a show line.
Yep.
So I really had no idea. I saw a picture of 2 pounds working, and I just thought, right, that could do. So I really had no idea at the time, but she's done really, really well for me, even competition wise. So yeah, I've been very lucky. I know it's not always the case.
And you said Fuji, so she must love the camera?
Sorry?
You said Fuji, so does she love the camera?
Yes, no, she actually does, yes.
Fantastic.
So tell us a little bit about the team you've got there at the moment.
The dogs I've got there, sorry?
Yeah,
Yes.
the team of dogs you've got.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I've got my old Meg. So she's 11 now. She's really, really good. She's been a fantastic dog for me. So she made the Scottish team as well, and she ran the brace with me. So she's been a fantastic wee dog. But she's just turning 11, so now it's I've got a young handler that's coming every day, nearly harassing me and getting lessons with her. And so she's gonna be running the novice with Rebecca. So that's really exciting to see that she can be someone's main dog as well, but she still stays here, so that's really cool. And I've got Kira, so she's 7, I think, and so she's one of my open dog for the national, and she's great hill dog, great. Yeah, she's a smart little thing. And then I've got Sorg. It's her son, and he's out of Michael Shear's gym. Is a very nice, valuable dog. It will do anything, just literally anything, and he will not worry sheep either. He's just very kind to them, but it does the job. So no, I really like him, and I've got 2 nursery dog, Cruz and Pilot, that's gonna start running their first nurseries in a month or a couple of months or something.
Yep.
And then a couple of younger ones.
And all collies?
Yes, they're all collies. Yeah.
And why collies? What attracted you to collies? What other choices do you have over there?
I think over here we have, well, I would say most people have collies, but then we have also, like you guys, I've got Kelpies and Huntaways. I did have a Kelpie at some point, but I just think that for the kind of work we have, I wouldn't say it's not enough, but you need like sheep can get really stressed in the hill, for example, and if you send a dog and he's a bit maybe too pushy or too natural, then if you can't see them, the sheep may just end up lying down. And I think that collies are easier because they're more obedient than Kelpie. Kelpie, they just know, but they can't see everything. But like a collie, you can stop it and make it, And but I had a Kelpie and I was doing the backing and stuff, and I just loved it because I just learned by myself. It was super cool. But the thing as well is that in this country it's like raining all the time, and I was working in the bank with him, and it was called Yagan, and he was jumping on top of the sheep and stuff and going back, and they were so muddy, and I couldn't send. I had like my lots of fat lambs ready to go, and I was like, I need to wash them because they're too muddy. And I was like, oh no. And I've done that a couple of times. So yeah, that didn't work for me, but I think they're brilliant dogs. And Huntaways as well. I'm not sure. I might take a Huntaway. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool. And how would you go to Huntaway with all that noise in the hills over there? Would that work for you?
With the Huntaway, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would clear the whole face. But again, it's that's maybe the thing that annoys me the most. See, if I get a dog that goes woof woof and everything is clear in 2 minutes, then it's too easy for the collies, you know, and they have nothing to do. And I'm like, no, that's cheating. You know, I try to be sneaky in the hills, so, you know, I get to do more stuff.
I love it. You're trying to drag the work out.
Yeah,
So, what are the particular traits in the line of dogs that you currently have that you really like?
So I think since I started, I think there was a few things that I try not to keep. I really like a dog that is like gonna do well all the time. I like, you know, I don't like something that's really, really good on light sheep or really, really good on heavy sheep. You know, I like something that's really regular. So like when I like, yeah, if I want a good trial season, I want to be placed all the time a bit. I don't need to be first, or I don't need to be, you know, I don't want to be obviously disqualified or something, but I like a dog that is consistent. So for that, I think it's for that reason, but I really like a dog that is free. So with a good balance, but if you ask him to, he can come much closer with like really, really this freedom of movement. So I don't like dogs with eye too much.
Yep.
And I would say as well, I don't like dogs that get excited easily. So if the situation changes, I don't like that the dog just kind of, you know, loses everything. And yeah, so that's, I would say, the two things I don't like. And I don't like a grip. I don't like dogs that are tense and end up gripping for no reason. I rather teach a dog to grip, because they can all learn to grip. So when I train my young dogs, most of the time, I mean, I never really have any grip at all. You know, even if they run in the middle, they'll maybe bump with their shoulder or something, but somehow it's looks like it's passing well on the line, and there's no, yeah, there's not much grip.
How do you go teaching?
Sorry?
How do you go teaching grip?
Teaching people.
No, grip.
What's group? What does that mean?
No, grip. You mentioned there that you can, you know, if you don't like a dog with too much grip.
Oh,
And
grip.
you, that's all right. It's my accent.
No, it's mine. Yes. Well, I think that most of the time the grip, we teach it by mistake, because we need the dog to grip because he's being, you know, kind of attacked by a sheep or something, or faced by a sheep, and we need it to grip. But I really enjoy teaching the grip, like in a small paddock with training sheep. And because basically I think when the dog is gripping, it's never nice for him. I mean, even if sometimes we think, oh, my dog is so powerful, is gripping, well, it's actually really not nice for him. I mean, even if you think when a ram is hitting a dog right in his mouth and the dog is gripping, it's like it must be really painful as well for the dog. And they can lose confidence. So me, what I do is that I try to make it simple, and I try to make it happen so the dog doesn't get any bad memories of it. So I will take a few ewe lambs or something, I will grab one by the leg, and I will just try to excite the dog a wee bit that is standing in front of a sheep, and I'll just say gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. And then when the dog just looks like he wants to grip or touch the nose or something, I just let the sheep go, and that's it. And that's like, yeah, that's what I want, and it's okay. Because I think that when dog grips, if you want to teach them to stop gripping, you kind of need to be hard on them. And I think the more you're hard on a dog, the more the jaw is gonna close, which makes even more pressure. So you end up with dogs that are gonna grip less maybe, but they are gonna hold on more, and they're gonna make more damage because of all the tension that's in their jaw. They're just gonna just keep holding on to it. So I rather have, you know, I rather teach a dog, even a dog that, let's say, I had dogs that were gripping, grippy before, and even if they know how to grip, I'll teach them how to grip properly, and I'll teach them that's okay, let go.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So you have controlled bites.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's actually a really good explanation of it. So no, thank you heaps for that.
So do you breed your own dogs?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're right. How's that going for you?
Yes, I was just gonna say that I've started to have quite a few generation now, so that's pretty cool because you can really see what they are going to be as well. And although they're all different, it's quite fun to breed and run your own ones.
So how are you selecting your pups?
That's a good question. I think I really like a dog that is average. I don't like a dog that like a pup that will be maybe a bit too shy or that's always standing back. I'll not go for that kind of dogs. And I will not go for the one that's super dominant, that's gonna harass everybody. I quite like a dog that just chill and is a bit in the middle of the litter.
Yep.
And I think what I don't like either is that a pup that would be scared of something, like you start a quad bike, they all get scared. Okay, because it's like a noise that comes from nowhere. But then I really want the pup to come back and have a look at it. I will not maybe pick the one that's standing back and saying, I don't like that. I like when they come and see what's going on.
Yep. And the bossy ones, what don't you like about them moving forward from your experiences?
It's more, I would say it's more towards the other dogs. It's not really towards me, I don't think. As long as obviously you're the leader and stuff, I don't think there's any problem. I think especially collies, they're pretty, they have a soft nature. So even if you have a really strong one with a hard temper, it's still gonna listen. So I don't think it's more for that. I just think it's to go in amongst other dogs. When I work more dogs, I want them to be able to just let go. If I'm running one, then I'm not running the others and this kind of thing. Just to have more like a calm temper rather than
Yep. And those ones that are a bit shy, how do you find those when they start to mature?
I don't know. They change a lot, to be honest. Because sometimes I keep a few of the same litter, and they can just change a lot, and that depends on obviously what I do with them and things like that. But the shyest one, the thing is that I'm going to spend more time with them to make them as confident as the others. So rather prefer to keep the more confident ones. But I think with time it doesn't really make a difference.
And you mentioned there about running like different dogs. How many, in a typical day's work, how many dogs would you take to work and how many would you use on each task as an average?
I think I will always have 3. I would say 3 is a minimum, and then I would take the little extras and the little gangsters. So I take the young ones, and let's say if I've got work to do in the bank, so in the yard, I think you call that, then I'll take the young ones and put them somewhere, and they'll just have to do their own things, and I can afford to do that because they're not gripping at all, so they're gonna have to find a way to not get trampled by the sheep and still do their job. So yeah, I would say at 5 then when I go somewhere.
And if you're sending a dog in the mountains, would you send one dog at a time or would you send 2?
Most of the time I send 2 because it's quicker and I'm always running out of time. And and in the hill it's really important because they have it's like hills with headers and there's lots of little paths, and you can see that those sheep, they're so wild, they just don't stick together, and you can have like a big lot and then 2 over there, 2 over here, and you really need to be able to get everybody together. But because they're on the line, they can start running like nuts, and you need more dogs to catch up with those buggers.
It's always good to have more dogs anyways. It's just more company to speak to.
What advice would you give to someone wanting to get their first pup?
So I would say probably to think about what they do and what they need. So the type of work they do with their dogs, the type of competition they have, and things like that. And to go and see people that do the same, and to see what type of dog they have, and to see if they have the same kind of temper as well, just to see if it would work. Because I think if you just go for, you know, any lines, then it's most likely that you're going to get something that might not suit you. Because there was so many in collies anyway. I mean, I don't know about obviously the other breed, but in collies there was so many different types that, you know, it's just as well to choose the one that suits you best for your job.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we've got a few questions here. A few of our members have asked, so we might flick them to you, and Laura will read them out because my eyes aren't that good seeing that far across the screen. So here we go.
There's one question here.
Oop.
Oh, now my computer doesn't want to work. What are some traits a dog requires when working the Scottish Hills at huge distances from the handler and often out of sight?
What are the skills?
What are the traits that the dogs require for the large hills that you guys have?
I think you really need a dog that can think a bit, and you know, once they're up there, they need to get the sheep down somehow or forward, and they kind of need to understand what we're doing, because we don't just bring them down to us. So there was, you know, there was lots of different techniques, and, you know, when you work with other people as well, just to be able to, you know, share the work. But yeah, you need a dog that is not going to worry the sheep either. You need something that's got a nice balance, and yeah, and that doesn't rush anything, and that is able to think a lot. When you spot some sheep, sometimes you don't want those ones, so you need to be able to redirect them. So they need to be quite supple. They can't be just, you know, if they're too stubborn and they're like, no, I'm getting those ones. No, like, mine's up, keep going. So yes, I did that.
There's another question here. Do you require a stronger, more forceful dog in the hills or with the work you are doing day to day than when competing in trials?
I actually think that the trial is the easiest bit. So yeah, I think a trial is pretty much trying to be perfect, which is definite. At work, you just you try to get it done, yeah. So I think that for my work, like if the sheep are stuck or hiding in rocks and things like that, it's never going to be a situation that I'm going to have when I'm trialing. But you still need to be absolutely perfect when you trial. So it's kind of two different skills, I would say. But I don't think I would be able to compete well. I wasn't working my dogs every day. I hope it answers the question, by the way.
Sorry.
I hope it answers the question, by the way.
Yeah, no, I think so. How tight, like you said, being perfect in trials, how tight are the scores over there? Like, you have to run an extremely high score because there's so much consistency between the top handlers?
Yes, some good ones. Well, when we have a trial that's 110 points, then yeah, you get easily scored past 100. So it's always very tight to the top, I would say. Yeah.
So the judge is splitting hairs.
Another question here. How do you start a pup or young dog, and how do you get that dog used to the hill work?
So me, I'm kind of the ones that will wait quite a bit before I get them into sheep. I mean, most of the time, to be honest, they just go by mistake. They go underneath a gate and they start running after sheep. So this is basically my official training method. No, but I would say if I had to do it properly, my own way, I would take a pup at 5 months old in a tiny paddock with just 2 or 3 lambs, and just let it chase for like a minute, and then try my best to grab it, and that's it. And then do that at 6 months, do that at 7 months, 8 months, like once every month, and probably around 10 months I would start getting the basics. Just get the dog to behave properly rather than just obedience. So I don't care about stop or anything like that. I just want the dog to react to my pressure and to be at the right place for the sheep. So I want my dog to learn how to work sheep before he learns any commands, if it makes sense. And I will take them in the hill with me. I will just have them on the bike, and obviously it's really good for them because they will look at I will send my older dogs, and they will see them running out, and they will start to spot sheep, and they will be, watching the whole time. So that's really good for them, I think.
And how, I'm looking from the dog's perspective now, when that young dog you send it the first time, does it send a bit direct, or have you got enough groundwork on it already that it's going to kick out and cast out, or flank, I think you guys call it, and get around at sheep? Or are they still a bit direct to start with when they've got all this energy, they just want to get out there?
Yes, I think, especially in the hill, if I was sending, let's say I have a young dog that's just started and I send it up in the hill, no, I will try to do it not too far. And also because it's quite steep, it's quite rocky, there's lots of bracken, lots of heather, it's really hard for the young dog to go. And I really would rather a dog that goes straight to the sheep rather than a dog that opens, because it will, he will lose confidence by having to spend so much time going up and up and up. And I think if a young dog goes straight and at the end just gather them, even like a meter around them, that would be perfect. And also those sheep, it's most likely that if my dog casts too much, they'll be gone by then. They really will.
Yeah.
I mean, they're waiting on those paths, and they're just like waiting to decide which way they're going to run. So yeah, you basically, actually young dogs are great for that job because they really get them down pretty quickly.
How often would your sheep be handled?
Well, my sheep here, my own ones, they're handled all the time because it's all in by, so I don't have hill in this farm. But the other farm, which is 1,600 hectares, it's quite big. So I think we gather them every 2 months, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah, they're pretty wild, and because they're Scottish blackies, they're wild anyway. So yeah, it's great. Lots of bruises.
Another one here, question from a bloke called Daniel Lenzo. Agricultural practices are different around the world. Can you please explain why lambing time in the UK is so important, and what sort of things are done during lambing, and why it is so important to have strong dogs for lambing?
So yeah, lambing time is absolutely mental. So so you basically just never sleep. So you have different ways of doing it. Obviously, you have in by or door, and if you do inside. So if you do inside, you do need your dogs to check the sheep during the day that you have let out. So let's say you lamb some, you put them in individual pens for like a day, and you do everything that needs to be done. So you ring the till, you mark them, you maybe tag them if they have pedigrees or whatever. Well, you check all that, and then you let them out in the first field, and then you put them into a next one with more sheep. So it's like there is lots of work involved in inside lambing, because you need to do inside, but then also all the problems outside, and you need to be able to bring sheep if there's any problem outside as well. But you really need to be there all the time, because there's so many sheep in such a small area. If you have two twins lambing together, this is going to be a nightmare. They're going to lamb in the same corner. So if you're not there, it's most likely that they're going to mismother, and there's always someone that has to be in the shed during lambing inside. And but for the dog side of it, you can inside lambing, for if you have, you can try to put the dog in front of the pen, and then she will start to feel a bit more like under pressure. So she's going to try to defend her lamb, and that's going to make her look like a mom, and then the lamb is going to have and that sometimes in her head there is something that happens that she wants the lamb now, and she wanted to kick the dog. And so that's inside. But outside, yes, outside the dogs get like a lot of work. So basically when you lamb outside, so when I lamb my blackies outside, I go in the morning really early, whenever it's daylight. I go out with the quad bike and I check the hill parks. So if you have any problem, if you have a ewe with a lamb stuck, then you need to catch a ewe in the hill, and then after that you need to take it to a wee pen or something. Well, there was always a problem, or a ewe that hasn't got enough milk, or oh my god, there was like a list of things that can go wrong. I can't wait until April comes.
Another question here is, can you explain a bit about the NSA, and how does the NSA program help young people start out in farming, and why is it so important for the future of the farming in the UK, and how did it help you?
I actually don't really know much about what they do, because we see as new entrants in farming, there used to be a grant available in the past, but there isn't anything now. So it's pretty hard work, because to get started now, I think literally it's impossible. The price this year have gone up the roof for sheep, and I'm really glad I started to buy my first sheep 2 years ago, and I was so lucky, because now I cannot even imagine someone wanting to get started now and with no money, nothing. And also, which is really hard, is that if you rent a place, you don't get any subsidy yourself. You just rent it, and the person that owns it and let it for you gets the sub. So it's very tricky to start, I would say. And I think there isn't enough that is there to help us, the new entrant. And the average is 65 years old, I think, in Scotland.
Yeah.
So this is pretty hard.
And you seem to have a passion for your job. And Natalie has asked, what do you love most about your job?
I love livestock. Like I love the way they behave. So like, let's say with my first dog, she had a lot of eye, and she was, and I had no idea. And I discovered, I was like, whoa, there's nothing I can do to start with. I was like, I don't know sheep, and she can't do it. And it's really a way of how I should say that. Right. Can you repeat the question, please? I got lost.
What do you love? No, that's okay. What do you love most about your job?
Right. Handling livestock. Like
handling,
like gathering and just moving them around. I mean, I really like when there is challenges. So see, if I need to take my sheep on the road and through all the traffic and all that, I'll go for it. I know it's like a bad idea. I'll probably be thinking in my head, oh, I can take the trailer and do a few trips and that'll be it. And I'm just like, no, I don't want that. I don't want to make my life easy. So I really like when there was, so that's, I really like moving livestock, and I like challenges. So the last time, I think in the whole village, there was sheep everywhere, and they pooed all over, and there was cars stopped everywhere, and there was like nice gardens, and I was like, this is such a bad idea. And I had my GoPro, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna go so wrong. But no, nothing happened, and it's quite fun. and people get used to that as well, because I think they used to maybe do that quite a lot in the past, and maybe in this area, but because it's kind of gone, I find it quite funny, you know, to see people opening their windows and see, whoa, what the hell is happening here? So yeah, like
you obviously see a few dogs out and about. So who do you think are the most influential dogs in the UK, and what makes them special?
I think there was a whole lot of great dogs over here. What I think is that it's not just about the dog. I think it really has to be the match, because it's really like a teamwork. I wouldn't say there was one dog that I really like, or you know, I really think it's a match with the handler, and so I've got a few here, but I've got a whole list, so I'm just gonna say some. Okay. So I think Julie Hill and Ban are tremendous, and I just think what I really like in that pair is that they just kind of are a bit different. That they are a bit like Julie thinks always a wee bit outside the box, and then, which is something that's pretty hard to do, especially in farming. You know, if you do things a bit different or something like that. And I just think this is what makes them special. You know, she's herself, and that's what I like with her dogs, and the way she communicates with them is just fantastic to watch. Or I've got Michael Scher and Bob and Jim as well. So I've got quite a few dogs with Jim, Michael Scher's Jim in the breeding, and I just think they're fantastic to watch. And he's like so humble. It will come and have a few jokes and just run, and it's fantastic. It doesn't matter if the sheep are good or bad. It makes no difference to him, and somehow he never really trials much during the year, and he comes to the national, he makes a team. That's what he does.
Yeah.
Or unfair. And otherwise, I've another name, George Gardner. So he was third this year at the international, and is not far from me, and he's absolutely fantastic to watch. He's so calm with his dog. He's got Megan Bunny at the moment, and no, it's just really inspiring to watch them. And when you see that and how calm they are, you just wonder, why am I so so on fire when I run, when I can do that? That would look so much better.
Are there any sires that have left a mark on dogs that you really like?
Size?
Sires, dogs, male dogs.
Dogs. I think I would definitely say Michael Scher's Jim, because it's the dog I used with Kira, so my open bitch, and I got Zorg, and from Zorg I got Cruz, and from Cruz I got Pops. So I would say that so far all those ones had really, I mean, I think Jim really put a lot of himself into that. So yes, that's exciting.
And while we're talking about dogs and breeding there, how do you guys go picking sires? Like, are people readily make their dogs available to use for breeding, or is it people stick themselves a bit and don't like to spread their genetics?
No, I think people do use dogs that, people would really travel to go and see a dog they like. I think that maybe in Scotland we really maybe tend to go and look for working dogs as well. We don't, well, I would say people I know, and myself anyway, I wouldn't go for just a trial dog that I've seen at a trial somewhere. I would really like to see what he does at work.
Yeah, that's pretty similar over here. The people think if you're rating a dog just by a trial, you haven't really seen what it's really capable of. It's
Yes.
You're in a controlled environment. So
Yeah.
What else we got there, Laura?
Can you touch on your training principles briefly?
I would say that because I came over with my wee dog with lots of eye and me knowing nothing, I really had to, yeah, I think it's survival skills, my training methods. But no, I really try not to fight with the livestock. So try to work with them, and I really think that you can have a really well trained and good working dog. If you don't handle it properly, it's never going to work. You really need to know how sheep and cattle work. So I would say that I would really try to work on the natural of the dog. So I know that some people would maybe do more obedience, like they start a young dog and they won't lie down, they won't come by your way. I really personally don't care about come by your way. It's more a case of calling the dog in towards you and out, and with pressure or with, like inspiring your dog. And I'm not going to make them lie down either, because I really like them to be in contact all the time. I really like them to find that point of pressure and to stay where they are. And if they're too close, I'm going to put some pressure on them a bit so they stay at that point. But I really like the contact. I don't like the obedience side too much.
Okay. You mentioned a bit about training. Tell us about training schools over there.
The vet training schools.
I don't know, training like sheepdog handling training school.
Oh, sheepdog handling. All right. So, well, there is not far from me. Julie Hill does. She does a super job. She always has something out there for the young handlers and stuff. But there isn't. She does even online courses and stuff, so that's really cool. But apart from that, I think there is some people teaching, but not many at all. So I think it's maybe a bit of a problem in this industry, because we need more people, but then it's hard to get started as well.
Yeah.
So is there one thing you see a lot of handlers struggling with?
I would say the problem is that no, they're not struggling with anything. No, I think in this country, in Scotland, there is most people that trial, they work sheep, so they really know their stock, and they know how to work a dog. So I think on this side, I don't think there would be something I would definitely point. I would say that for novice that starts, it makes it really hard, because even a really tremendous handler can make an absolute mess of a run, and it's hard because you're there, and if you're a novice, you're like, I don't want to run after that, and then you make a mess and you don't really know how to correct it. So it's, yeah, I would say that is what's hard, is maybe for novices.
Is there a message you'd like to get out across the working dog community in the UK and across the world?
What would I say?
Whatever you want.
I think well, I used to get like a few lessons and a few tips from two old shepherds in Wales called John Jones and Cyril Humphreys, and they used to tell me, like, that they were so quiet the way they run dogs, and I just thought it was fantastic. And I just, every time I shout, I just try to remember myself. Come on, do you remember? And I remember John was saying one day, it was like, try to speak to your dog how you would like to be spoken to, and all those little things like that. And I think it's really into details and into, having a better bond with your dog, that you progress. Should make sense.
It does.
It does. I think that's an important message.
So
You're right, Laura.
when starting out, who inspired you?
I think those two guys inspired me. So yes, John Jones and Sarah Humphreys. They are not competing very much, but yeah, they're absolutely fantastic trainers. It's like magician. You just don't even know what they're doing, and they just do it. And they don't speak. They don't. Yeah. Those two guys, I would say, for sure.
We've spoken about trialing a bit. Why do you trial?
I think to start with a trial really because it was a challenge. I mean, I really like a good challenge. So
Well, we've identified that.
when you are a beginner, I mean, my first trial was I was over in the UK and I couldn't speak English. I had no idea, and I was helping up there for like 2 months, I think, and I just got someone just entered me, and I was just like, I didn't even know how to say I don't want to, and I had my 1-year-old dog with in French commands, and it was so stressful, and I loved that. I was like, oh my god, I'm really scared, and I just love that kind of thing. So yeah, I love the challenge of getting to run your dog in a different field, different sheep, and learning to handle them better and watch other runs and see how they do. And it's also really fun to see people that have the same interests than you, and you can talk dogs, and you're not gonna annoy them.
So do you have a favorite trial?
I don't think I do. I think if you give me the choice between a really good trial and a trial I don't know, I'll go for the one I don't know.
Challenge.
So yeah, that's it.
Love
That's
it.
easy.
What do you feel is your best accomplishment so far? Like your best achievement, sorry?
I think it's really kind of the whole process of being able to move from Belgium without speaking the language and stuff, and to move over here with no money and being able to build that. I mean, I got people to help me, and I made really good friends. But I would say that this is the thing I'm the most proud of, I would say.
Awesome. And you're up for a challenge. We've got that message pretty clear today. So we've got a question here from Daniel again. The terminology used in the UK is very different from Australia. Can you explain what a mule, gimmer, and tups are?
What a mule is?
A mule, yeah, a mule, a gimmer, and tups.
Oh, I see.
I
Okay,
don't know any of them.
So a mule is basically a cross. So you have different kind of mule. So you have the Cheviot mule will be an off-country Cheviot crossed with a blue-faced Leicester and the traditional type, and then you get mule. And what you breed out of those mules, and you normally just put a terminal sire. You can put a Texel or Suffolk or whatever, and then everything that comes out of that cross gets goes as fat, I would say, most of the time. And so that's the Cheviot mule, and you can have the Scottish mules, which is a cross between a Scottish blackface and a blueface Leicester, and you have those mules, same again, so it's a F1 cross with Texel or whatever, and after, and to get the fat lambs. And you have the English mules as well, which is a swale with a blue face, and again, same thing. So yeah, so that's the mules. Now it was gammers.
Yep.
Right. So gammers is just the age. So you have ewe lambs become hogs, I would say, in the winter. To be honest, it's a bit different even in this country. People have like different way of saying it, but I would say that a gammer a hog become a gamer once it gets shown for the first time. That's what I would say.
Okay.
And
Sorry.
the top is a ram.
It's a ram.
A ram. Okay. I wasn't sure if we were being stitched up, so I'm glad that they are actually things. And do you want to read Angie's question?
What is life like on the land over there?
Lifestyle.
Yeah.
Oh, like my lifestyle, or
Well,
however you want to answer it. Yeah, the lifestyle in general. Is it laid back? Is it relaxed? Is it very upbeat, like fast paced?
I don't think I understand the accent. I'm sorry.
So, is it a laid back lifestyle, or is it fast paced? How your environment?
So sorry, I'm just trying to get it right. So
No,
when
okay.
you mean when we work, how what kind of rhythm we have?
Yeah, are you guys stressing all the time and on edge about getting things done, or is it just like, okay, we'll get to that and we'll work through it, like with a procedure?
No. Basically, well, we can see my eyes, but no, basically we always try to get, we have like a plan of things we're going to do, and if it's me that makes the plan, I just put way too much on it, so it's impossible to finish the day. So this is great, and we just stressed and just finished a crazy time. It's really good fun as well, so it's like, it's not, if it was a job that we didn't enjoy doing, then there's not a chance that we'd be working those hours. But because it's so fun, it's okay. And it's like, there was lots of appreciation in the work as well. But no, I would say it's like because I've got the farm here is in by lowland, so there was more day-to-day work. So when there was always something to do every day, which is good. But then when we get the hill farm to do, it's like the whole lot, because there isn't much in by field. When you do the gatherings, you need to get them processed. So everything needs to be done kind of the same day. So if you have a gathering where it's a bit messy, you lose a bit of time, then you really, really work really hard in the fang, because you need to get finished, because there isn't many in by field, and also the fences is horrible. So even if you put them there, I'll try to go back to the hill, and it's a nightmare.
That sounds pretty common here. Wherever there's hills, the fencing isn't as great. What do you do away from dogs? Do you have a hobby or a talent that people probably wouldn't know about?
I do a little video editing. I don't think I have a talent about it. I'm just saying that I like it. No, I really like to be able to show what I see and what I do with the dogs, because I've always done wee videos and stuff, but I just think, like, let's say when you're in the hill, it's just absolutely fantastic. And what those dogs can do is like, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it by myself. So I really like to video stuff that they do, and to show a good image of farming, because I think sometimes farming is not seen really well, especially on social media at the moment. It's like, it's not the best.
You can give your YouTube channel a plug there if you like.
Don't hesitate to subscribe to She Shepherd. No, thanks for that.
No, that's okay. And how did that concept start?
I was making videos of we do lamb boxes for people locally. So I started to do wee videos about that, and just try to tell people about sheep worrying, dog worrying sheep and stuff like that. And I just thought, well, I can do better than that, and I just started to film a bit more.
Yep.
There's some pretty cool videos on there.
Thanks. And also, I might get myself a horse.
Is there anyone you'd like us to sit down and do a Q&A with?
I think if I had to be someone in the UK, I would definitely like to hear Michael share, and if it's someone outside the UK, there is someone that a really good friend of mine in Switzerland, and she's called Natalie, and she used to work with her dogs. This is one of the first person that I've seen that was really like, wow, this is amazing what she does. And she was, looking after the sheep in the mountains during the summer, and then she was bringing them down, and she had thousands of sheep to graze, during the autumn time and stuff. And it's just, this lifestyle is crazy. The type of dog is totally different, and and she's got she's got kelpies and collies and all that, and yeah, even German Shepherd, just to keep the sheep away from going into fields and stuff. So yeah, I think that would be very, very interesting.
Maybe when we're offline, you can hook us up with a couple of those people.
Yeah, no, cool.
That would be cool, especially German Shepherds in Australia. No one really uses them for stock work, so I found that fascinating.
Yeah, no, it's really amazing.
That's great. So if there was a question there tonight that you liked, what question do you think that would have been? And that winner, whoever had that question, is going to win a bag of dog food.
And all the question I heard today from maybe the one about the traits of dogs for running in the hill.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's Daniel Lenzo. So Daniel, I'll probably contact you before you see this, but in case I forget or get sidetracked, shoot me a message, mate, with your details, and a bag of Enduro dog food will be coming your way.
So we'd like to thank you for jumping on and having a chat with us. We really appreciate it. There's one more question before we go. Would you rather fight one duck the size of a horse or 20 horses the size of ducks?
To be honest, I think ducks can be quite aggressive. See mine, if I don't let them out, early in the morning, they are like super raging. So to be honest, I don't really know if I want to fight a dog. Because seriously, and my ones that are running dogs, they're like super high like this. I don't think I want to. No, for real. I think I'd rather the horses, like the mini horses, and I might not fight them. I can just keep them, can I?
Yeah. Very well answered. Loving it. So, on that note, to all our viewers there today, thanks for logging in. I hope you enjoyed your time with Laura, our first international guest. And please remember that the day we stop learning will be a sad day for each of us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Cheers.